वेलकम अनुज सर।
थैंक यू।
कहते हैं ना, यू आर द मास्टर ऑफ द फर्स्ट सेमिनार आई हैव हर्ड इन द करोल बाग, that is with respect to cyber security, and after that we listened to you in NIRC on the blockchain forensic and cyber security and investigation, and जितना मैं सारे अपने मेंबर्स को भी बताना चाहूँगा, अनुज जी एक ऐसे हमारे बीच में मेंबर हैं जो गवर्नमेंट को कहीं ना कहीं हर जगह रिप्रेजेंटेशन, हर जगह उनकी डेलिब्रेशन होती है कि कैसे सिक्योरिटी को हम मेंटेन करें, साइबर सिक्योरिटी पे कैसे अपनी जस्टिस करें, और थर्डली नॉट लास्ट, जो हम रिमोट ऑडिट या कोई भी चीजें ऐसी करेंगे, हर चीज के पीछे अल्टीमेटली देयर इज अ थ्रेट, और थ्रेट को कैसे हमें मिटिगेट करना है टू मेंटेन द प्रिवेसी, to maintain the authenticity of the data, and ultimately for the chartered accountant it is the much requirement कि हम अपने डेटा को, अपने क्लाइंट्स के डेटा की ऑथेंटिसिटी, इंटीग्रिटी कैसे बनाए रखें, क्योंकि आज की तारीख में बड़ा फ्री फ्लो हो गया डेटा का। टेली का डेटा जीमेल में अटैच किया, सेंड किया, पहुंच गया, बट वी आर नॉट मेकिंग एनी कंप्लायंसेस। तो अनुज जी आपसे सर आज बहुत कुछ सीखने का मन है, और मैं इंट्रोडक्शन में यही कहना चाहूंगा, हमारे लिए साइबर गुरु की फॉर्म में अनुज जी हम सबके बीच में हमेशा अवेलेबल रहते हैं, और ही इज वन ऑफ द पर्सन हु इज हैविंग अ कीन इंटरेस्ट इन टेक्नोलॉजी साइड एंड सिक्योरिटी साइड। So I welcome Anuj sir on behalf of NIRC of ICI and all the members of NIRC, and I request to please start your deliberation. And we have definitely given you a very less time, but in future we are making a 3 or 4 days refresher course so that we can also compile everything in a very systematic way so that members can get the maximum knowledge. And आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत अनुज sir, please.
Thank you very much, Shashank ji, and all office bearers of NIRC, ICSI, and all esteemed guest members. It is always a pleasure and a privilege to be speaking, and I would rather call it interacting, although because of the online deliberation, the interactions are many times limited. But the advantage is that we are now reaching out to so many members in one go. And that is an advantage of this webinar series. So today, what we are going to do is that we are going to talk very limited on the cybercrime side. And as the topic today is about the remote audit and compliances. So whether you are working in an organization or whether you are auditing as a professional, the challenge remains that what are the issues in the remote audit and how the use of technology to tackle that audit issue and continuous compliance. You see, we go and do an audit once in a while, say maybe a quarter, half yearly or yearly. But compliance is such an issue which requires continuous compliance. So are there technological methods by which we can do a continuous compliance? And if there is some incidences going on in the organization, can we get some forensically approved evidences or material through which some kind of an action can be initiated? So we are going to look at those kind of possibilities by automating, if we can do all this, because we can, by human intervention, because of this pandemic and otherwise, it is very difficult for anyone, any auditor to go regularly cross-check things on a very regular basis. Manpower is an issue, cost is an issue, and obviously now because of these various restrictions, traveling even local is an issue. Going to Mumbai, Bangalore or Frankfurt, New York is totally out of question. So we are going to look at some of those possibilities if we can do it with the use of technology. About myself, as Shashank ji has told, I am the chairman for the Center for Research on Cybercrime and advisor to the National Institute of Criminology, and various ministries I visit as a faculty, including IT and home. Computer Society Noida chapter, and I've written a book on the cyber crime first responder, which is an SOP for the law enforcement agencies across the country and abroad, as well as an SOP on the handling of digital evidence. Obviously, various institutes I keep on visiting, or rather keep on speaking now online mostly, and almost all the police units, EOWs, NIA, CBI, narcotics, tax authorities, I keep on speaking, judiciary and public prosecutors. This is the book which I have written. It's available on the Amazon, on Flipkart. It is the first book which is available both in Hindi and English hand to hand. Google keep on ranking me first or in the first few on the cyber law and cyber crime. Almost all the TV channels I regularly appear on various issues, digital payment, cyber crime, cyber investigations. Various DGPs, judicial officers, high court judges. Now what we do is, like, we have been training all these people. We do a lot of investigations, economic offense and fraud investigation, GDPR and privacy compliance, data theft, which is becoming a major issue, including to all the auditing and compliance people, VAPT and digital evidence analysis, and various cyber security frameworks. Now just look at some of the compliance frameworks which are prevalent at this point of time in India, which I am sure you must be tackling as part of your assignments, either in the corporate or in your practice. There is an RBI cyber security framework for banks, RBI guidelines for payment aggregators and payment gateways, RBI cyber security framework for urban cooperative bank, guidelines for cyber security in the NBFC, cyber security and cyber resilience, UIDAI, AAU, KU compliance security audit, ISNP security audit, and there are so many organizations who are now going for the systems audit, either as part of their regulatory compliance or under the pressure or requirement of various customer organizations in India or abroad. Because if you look at Europe, they have a very strict GDPR compliance. If you look at US, they have HIPAA for the health sector, and then they have the CCPA, which is a state legislation. We have the FTC on the top of everyone sitting on the data privacy, and there are Amendment 1, Constitution Amendment 1, which obviously talks very highly about the individual privacy. So these are all the compliances. So if you are dealing with any of the customers from Europe, America, Singapore, Japan, Australia, Korea, they all have their own privacy framework. Now, what are the crimes the companies are facing which leads to a lot of fraudulent situations? Abuse and misuse of computing assets, email abuse, internet abuse, potential criminal conduct using company premises and computer, network and other IT infrastructure, financial frauds, industrial espionage, corporate sabotage, embezzlement, data theft. These are all the issues which, if I look at from the audit point of view, requires auditors' attention or at times reporting. Personally, yes, we all need to be a little aware about the crimes, the computer crimes, which we are all likely to face. Sex offenses, luring for money and sex. I tell you, one of the very senior members who happens to be president and ex-president of the Stockbrokers Association, there is a fake ID created in his name and a lot of money was asked. So some people end up paying from Kolkata and other places, and he called me that this is happening. I said, please check your machine, computer, laptop and the mobile. It is likely compromised, and also need to get this ID reported so it is closed. Still, some people end up paying, and he was very embarrassed that look, people are thinking that they are supporting me. He's a senior chartered accountant also. So drug-related offenses, illegal partying, plain burglary and dacoity. This is also happening as part of the cyber crime. So So people put their status saying we are going to a hotel or some place for celebrating a birthday party or something, which means an open invitation to burglars. They come that the house is open and they go and do some innocuous burglary. Obviously, defamation, bullying, stalking. We all know the Republic Channel saga, pornographic distribution, credit card, debit card, Paytm, e-commerce fraud, fake IDs, and fake emails. Now just quickly go through the threat landscape, that how it is coming, because if you are an auditor of a company, you also need to be aware about the likely cyber threats, and they are going to affect the audited organization in very many manners. One is that if the company suffers from a cyber attack, the value of the company diminishes immediately and it puts company to huge liability, current as well as the potential liability. In one of the data breaches in US, the company faced $160 million as a liability. Now, what are these threats? APT, advanced persistent threat, data breach, password theft, theft of IP designs, R&D information, and employee personal sensitive information is done by hackers. But please also understand that those companies who are having such an important data, they do have a lot of security measures put in place. And how does this happen? These hackers are not doing it overnight. They do it as a continuous effort, and the average is 229 days. So this is what we call as an advanced persistent threat. Then the perimeter and insider breach. You see, the breach happens from two manners. One is that the hackers or the security, the cyber criminals are trying to breach you from the outside. But you will be surprised to know that the maximum breach is from inside, 67%. How does it happen? Just one simple example, and I think you will appreciate it immediately. You see what happened in the Panchabati when the golden deer appeared. Ma Sita asked Bhagwan Shri Ram to go hunt for it. And while leaving, Bhagwan Ram ordered Lakshman ji to be there for the security of Sita ji. Now when Bhagwan Ram hunted that golden deer, the Marich, that deer impersonated in the voice of Bhagwan Shri Ram asking for the help, and Sita ji asked Lakshman ji to go to help Sita ji. While leaving, Lakshman ji created a Lakshman Rekha or a firewall that Ma, please remain inside, you will be safe. And nobody can really come inside to harm you. But obviously, that particular firewall could have been breached by nobody else but all these three people, Ma Sita, Bhagwan Shri Ram and Lakshman ji. Ravan came, immediately realized that the firewall he cannot breach. So he somehow convinced Sita ji to come out. Now this is how the security is being breached in your organization, in your firm, in your company. That the employees inside, they are allowing cyber criminals an easy access. So if somebody receives a mail saying, look, there is a 15-inch Samsung TV available to you for 5,000 rupees, please click the link, or you have got a refund from the IT department, immediately claim it, otherwise the link will disappear and you will lose that 5 lakh rupees which the Modi ji is offering as part of the pandemic relief from the income tax department, etc., etc. So as soon as people go and click on these links, they are breaching the security from inside. And then we have email spoof, data theft, connection compromise, darknet, ransomware, woman employee harassment, wireless and other password breaches, website defacement, hacking, and so many types of cyber risks which are there in the organization, which almost everybody must understand, including an auditor. Now the point is, okay, if there is a risk, how to handle those risks. So I'll just discuss that part. today because the time is very, very limited, and the topic today is helping remote audit. So if you are going to an organization which is IT enabled and you are doing an audit, you need to check what kind of security measures they have taken. Now, what kind of tools they might be using, they should be using. The firewalls for the perimeter security. There should be an endpoint security tool for securing the laptops, computers, mobiles. There should be appropriate encryption. Network security must be in place. Access controls, very, very important. Authentication, use of VPNs, and intrusion detection, which is again part of the endpoint security. So this whole gamut is required. Now, this is not only a voluntary requirement from the organization, it is also a requirement under the Information Technology Act 2000 and the rules which are there for the protection of sensitive personal data. So those rules prescribe that any organization, the body corporate, which includes partnership firms as well as individual businesses. So the explanation of body corporate here in the rules or in the law itself rather, it is very clear that basically they mean to say any business. But they said body corporate, which includes the partnership firms as well as the individuals, that if you are holding any sensitive personal data, which obviously means any kind of information relating to the employees, financial information or something like credit card information, PAN card information, Aadhaar card information, and obviously clients' income tax inputs or financial data of the clients, they are all sensitive personal information, then that organization must have a proper security mechanism put in place, which is not only a technical management but also a complete security process. So this is also an opportunity for all our professional friends to ensure that whenever you are going to check the compliance, you please also check compliance for this, because this is a statutory mandate. Rule 8.1 or 8.4, either of the choice taken by the company or even your firm, the compliance is mandatory. So one is the tools the organization should have, other is the security policy. Now what happens that if you go and check in an organization, somebody using pornographic material viewing in the organization, you will say, what are you doing? He will say, but nobody said no to me. Or if he is browsing Facebook or he is writing defamatory messages to some political leader, the reason is the company doesn't have a policy, the cyber security or the IT or the social media policy. So unless you have the policy in place, which is again a statutory requirement also, the employees or anybody else cannot be blamed. And if you have policy as well as tools and security in place, that becomes your first line of defense in case of a breach or there is a threat to your organization from cyber criminals. And if the company is being prosecuted for any of the offenses under Information Technology Act 2000, which puts the liability of key managerial personnel as a vicarious criminal liability. And the KMPs are director, CFO, CEO, company secretary, etc. And almost all the offenses under the Information Technology Act 2000 are cognizable offense, which means the person can be arrested, the directors can be arrested without a warrant. As soon as the FIR is lodged, the person can be arrested. Now this is the first line of defense if we have sufficient security measures as well as policy put in place and you are following that rigorously, and if it has been audited and confirmed by a competent person that yes, it is adequate as per the requirement of the organization. It is very, very important for all the organizations, the body corporate as I mentioned, which include the partnership firm as well as individual firms, apart from obviously the private companies, the public companies, the government companies. Now, these are some of the steps and elements of a security policy: authentication, access control, secrecy, data integrity, audits. Now we will look at one of the solutions which we can deploy in our organizations to ensure remote compliance. And what kind of an information sitting at your organization, at your office, you can get about your audited companies. This would be interesting for you to see, that you can recommend to your clients as well as utilize in your own working. Because in a pandemic situation, we have allowed all the companies, including our own employees, to work from home. Now, if they are working from home, it is wonderful. It has actually created a lot of favorable environment to the companies. The cost is down. The real estate cost is down. You also have a lot of opportunities of hiring people now from the tier 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cities, smaller cities, at a much lower cost, and the employees are much more enthusiastically working because now they are operating from their hometown. So I think it is a great opportunity for cost saving as well as enhancing the productivity as well as employee happiness. But whether it is leading to the organization happiness, whether it is leading to organization productivity, and are there many lacunas, loopholes, or data privacy issues, data theft happening, which can be disastrous for the organization? We need to look at from that angle. So I'm just going to discuss about a solution which can provide you wonderful insight about whatever is happening with all your employees, whether they are working in office or wherever in the world. Just discuss that. And feel free, you can put any of your questions wherever and whenever you want. There is no restriction.
Yes, sir. Sir, there is one member who is asking, एक बार टनलिंग जो कॉन्सेप्ट है वो आप एक बार समझा पाए सर दोबारा?
हाँ बिल्कुल, देखिए टनलिंग थोड़ा सा टेक्निकल है, हालांकि टनलिंग का मतलब ये होता है कि जो हम इंफॉर्मेशन को मूव कर रहे हैं, एक तो हमारा क्या है कि ओपन हाईवे है, इंटरनेट इज लाइक एन ओपन हाईवे, जैसे हम लोग सड़क पे चलते चले जाते हैं, where there is always a possibility of a hacker or a cyber criminal to peep in and see कि क्या इंफॉर्मेशन जा रही है, उसको हम लोग मैन इन द मिडिल अटैक बोलते हैं. तो मुझे और आपको शायद रोज वायर पे इंफॉर्मेशन जाती हुई नहीं दिख रही है एज ए ऑर्डिनरी पर्सन, बट ए हैकर यूजिंग सिंपल, वेरी सिंपल टूल by launching a man in the middle attack and simply see all that information. I just tell you, one of my not even an employee, just a trainee, during the lunch time, he could hack the nearby office system using the man in the middle and could show me a lot of invoices. I said, just close this, यार चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट की invoices मत show करो, क्योंकि अगर हम उनको दिखाएंगे तो पता चलेगा कि सर फीस तो आनी रही है, केवल इनवॉइसेस ही बना रहे हैं. बट यू सी, इफ यू यूज टनलिंग, सो व्हिच मींस दैट यू आर कवरिंग योर इंफॉर्मेशन इन सच ए मैनर दैट इट कैन नॉट बी इजीली peeped by a passing cyber criminal. So tunneling is that concept by which you can cover your information using a tunneling concept. अब मैं आपको ये एक टूल के बारे में थोड़ा सा बताऊंगा, and this is not the only tool. I mean, you can deploy any tool. So I will discuss about what all the possibilities in a remote working environment and a remote audit environment, what all you can do, and you can see without visiting physically ever to any employee or even company's office. So if you use an IT enabled solution, what you all need? What do you need? You need a solution which can protect all the computers and the laptops in an organization which the employees are using, including your server. Then you also need to check the employee productivity, whether the employees are working on the office work or they are using YouTube and using Twitter, or if they are not following company policy and using company network, say VPN or something, for unnecessary browsing. For example, people are using XXX and all that using the company network. Then you also need to completely ensure that the governance and the regulatory compliances are in place 24/7. Auditor is typically able to reach out to an organization, say once in a year, or you have a lot of internal audits happening, which is frequency is quarter. But the requirement of the law is that the compliance should be continuous. As I was just talking to the chairman NIRC, and he mentioned very beautifully that if we look at now the GST compliance, that is what is happening, that they are demanding 24/7 continuous compliance, and they have developed a system by which anytime the compliance is missing or there is some hanky-panky, they can immediately figure out what is happening and report, and consequences follow. Then there is a need to see that what all assets are there in our environment, in our network, and whether they are updated and who is using in what manner. And then obviously we also need a lot of cyber forensic. Without going to the places, see today what is happening, if I want to do a forensic of a laptop which is based out of Bangalore, getting that laptop from there and then doing a forensic here requires a lot of time, effort, money, which during pandemic time it has become a little difficult. So can we do it remotely and on a continuous basis? Plus, can it be used as an evidence, as a digital evidence, if there is a need for some sort of a legal action? So we just need to see if these are all possible using remote tools. Now just understand some of the features which enable these kind of possibilities. So there, this system can monitor and block dangerous process activity in order to mitigate hacker. Please also understand, in most of the time, wherever there is a breach in an organization or there is a crime in an organization, it is not always that insiders are doing it deliberately. There might be a possibility that some hacker from outside has inserted some kind of a malware or a system which is doing all that fraudulent activity, which can later on be blamed to an employee, maybe a key employee. So that is not the case. Now, ransomware, which is another major headache these days. Very recently, we had ransomware attacks on Haldiram, Dr. Reddy's in India, Mithas, and many other healthcare organizations, because in the pandemic time, 2-3 businesses who are still making good money is the food business, healthcare business. Many other businesses are down, but these businesses are roaring and they are doing good. So ransomware activity is now very rampant on these businesses. Now, application whitelisting. What is happening in a company that a lot of employees, since they are not in the office and working from remote, they have downloaded on the company given laptops using company network, the VPN, the softwares which are not licensed, but whenever they will be tracked by the developer of the software, they will be tracked back to the company network. So they will issue notice, and they will issue notice of non-compliance to the company, and they will demand huge compensation in lakhs and crore from the company itself. So these applications from remote can do a whitelist by which only those applications can run in a company's given machine, which the company has allowed the employees using licenses and all that. And obviously, the all other applications which employees are likely to use can be blacklisted. Now, in a remote scenario, work from home, what is happening? The lot of data is being stolen by the employees by running the screen, print the screen, or copying the screen, or recording the screen. Because if they are not downloading, but they are recording the screen and then selling out the information. Now, this kind of a solution, they can run a screen scraper. So if they are using the screen recording feature or screen print screen feature, it can be tracked easily. File read and write. Now, who is reading how much, writing how much, and processing which particular file? So if somebody is uploading a particular file using, say, Gmail or company name, FTP solution, Dropbox, it can be easily tracked. And then employee can be questioned apart from blocking itself. But in many situations, the employees need to do this because somebody who is into marketing, he will be allowed to upload a lot of information to various customers. But then if this kind of a recording is happening, later on an analysis, it can always be checked whether he is using that feature or misusing that feature. Scheduled task creation, keyboard hook. So anybody who is taking away any particular, say, hard disk from the computer, or is changing the RAM, or is taking out a particular mouse, or changing the keyboard, that activity can also be logged. And obviously the USB can be controlled. Now, when we are talking about controlling the USB, it is that you can allow USB to write, but do not allow to write. You can allow to read. So people can insert USB, read the information, but they may not be allowed to write information. Data filtration. Now on the forensic side, total traffic recording can be done. All kind of forensic artifacts can be made available. Disk forensic, hash values, PCAP files, query engine, user activity for deforensic during any security incidents, because there are logs per second activity available in the computer on the cloud. So anybody who is doing today something wrong, and after 1 month or 2 months, auditor is auditing, or a fraud analyst, as Vinodji said, that later on, sooner or later, the auditor has to take the responsibility of fraud detection, fraud analysis. Even today, they are doing it in a way. So if you discover a fraud, say after 3 months, you need some kind of a sound evidence to pinpoint it to particular machine and particular user. So if that kind of a data is available remotely, even after 3 months, 6 months, which can be used in a analysis, in a digital evidence, in a court of law, then only you can do it. Otherwise, just blaming somebody based on your thinking process, that is not allowed as per law. It has to be supported by solid evidence. So that these kind of tools allow you complete cyber forensics remotely, and it is totally non-intrusive. So the user is not at all aware what is happening, but this information is being gathered and being transferred to the cloud, which is in the control of the company or the organization or the CFO or the auditor, depending. Then what kind of governance and the regulatory compliance can be handled using these kind of solutions? Now, what happens that it takes care of the hardening the baseline of the OS configuration. It can be used to measure compliances of devices against baseline standards, for example CIS. Real time compliance monitoring कर सकते हैं इंडस्ट्री स्टैंडर्ड्स के हिसाब से. And this can be configured depending upon the requirement of the auditor and the compliance requirement. Whether somebody wants a CIS compliance, somebody wants a GDPR compliance, somebody wants an India compliance, or somebody wants a HIPAA or a SOC 2 compliance. It all depends. So zone to zone, country to country, or multiple or single compliance, depending upon that, this can be configured, and in a real time the auditor can see that whether all the machines and the entire environment is compliant, and as soon as even a single machine, single device or a single server is out of compliance, it will flash. Auditor also has the control that they can push the compliance mechanism from their end, or even warn the user to make compliance. Employee productivity and scanning employee activity, that is very, very important. Now it gives you a historic view of users' active windows. So whatever he is doing on the computer per minute, per second, per day, all his interactive sessions and insight into productivity and further facilitating the forensic investigation. So if I am talking to you, I am being monitored that what I am doing, I'm talking on Zoom, and whom I am talking to. My screens are also being shared with my controller, with my auditor. User duration recording, that how much time I am working and how much time I am not at all working. It does not mean that somebody will do that 10 o'clock, he will just do a login in the computer, start his computer. No. If he is not at all working, no application, his mouse, keyboard, screen, nothing is working, he just simply logged in and sleeping, that will also be available in the system, and that person can be easily caught. So employee real-time activities for analysis, record screen activities, full schedule process of particular system is available. So he can be monitored, detected, responded, and a complete management can be done. Now, technical side, all your computer systems can be managed remotely. So there is no need to go and check whether there is a computer which is compliant or not compliant. So it can be done. Now some other important information. The time is limited, so I would like to leave a lot of time for the question answers. A lot of other information, for example, for the asset management can be done remotely using tools, the host name, the operating system, location. So whether the person is working actually from home or he is not at all working from his home, or he has moved to some other unsafe location. What is the status of the operating system, antivirus, whether there is a BitLocker, whether there are processes which are friendly in the running in the system, or if there is a Bitcoin mining happening in that computer, or if somebody is using company's network bandwidth, VPN for insecure processing, or he is using it for a personal business. The applications, whether they are legally allowed, legible, licensed applications, and what are the hardware specifications, disk and usage. Now data discovery. This system can do a lot of data discovery, the kind of files, the email addresses, and the sensitive information like credit card numbers remotely. The scan can be performed, drill down can be done backend. So it will not affect the performance of the company at all. The device can be hardened. Now, I'll just show you one real screen which we have recently recorded. If you look at this particular screen, there are various machines which our users are using. and it is giving some information which we have filtered, that what kind of a system they are using. For example, Windows 7. Now, Windows 7 is considered unsafe and non-compliant with any kind of a compliance. So, an auditor should raise a flag because it has outlived its activity life, and Microsoft is no more supporting this. Now, if you look at status, now this particular computer at the time of the reporting was offline for 8 minutes. This particular computer was offline for 8 days. So this particular user has not even logged in for 8 days. Now this guy is online. So and this is lagging 5 minutes. So which means this probably has some problem, or it has a very slow bandwidth. So these kind of information sitting at wherever you are as an auditor, as a controller, you keep on getting, and then obviously you can look at compliances, you can look at corrective actions. Just look at some of the information about the status of that particular computer. It has Adobe Reader, FortiClient, GoToOpener, Microsoft Edge. Now, remotely sitting, you can see whether this particular person is using some kind of a software which is not as per your policy, or which the company has prohibited using, or that software may be using for data scrapping, data copying, or some kind of an illegal or unsavory activities. So what I am trying to say, by utilization of these kind of tools, while you are conducting any kind of a remote audit operation, it becomes possible, and you become assured that whatever you are reporting, it has a legal basis, it has evidence. Otherwise, what happens that although you put caveat in your report that my report is based on the data provided by the management, and at the end of the day, management reports remains responsible. But the auditor also needs to have some way to look at remotely to those computers if he desires so. Or what he can do, if he's an auditor, he should say that, look, I need the information for last 3 months, continuous information, continuous reporting, and then only I will sign off. Otherwise, just signing today, because whenever auditors are coming, a lot of preparation is made by an organization to be compliant. And as soon as the audit is done, the certificate is issued, the compliance goes off for the next 1 year or maybe next 1 quarter. So these kind of tools will ensure and allow the comfort to the auditor and an organization to remain compliant for all the time to come. So whenever there is an incident happening, auditor and organization both can say that, look, we have been in regular compliance using these kind of tools, the endpoint security 5-in-1 tools. So today, that was what my thought process was. Now I would request, if there are questions, we can take up, and then in the summary, if there is the time permits, we can obviously discuss more issues. Sir, please.
Yeah, Anup, there is one question, and it's quite a good question. How to detect a foul play in the system without being a cyber expert? It's a question for all the chartered accountants, sir.
Foul play in what? If you can just do a little more elaboration, what do you mean by foul play?
So if anything related to the, if anybody has conducted anything, something which is not traceable by normal or minimum level of intervention on the technical side, ऐसे कुछ एरर्स को या हम पकड़ कैसे पाएंगे विदाउट बीइंग अ साइबर एक्सपर्ट ना? जैसे कोई आईपी के अंदर कुछ ऐसा लगा दे, या कोई कहते हैं ना कि आपके फोन का सारा कुछ रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है किसी के पास, ऐसी कुछ चीजें जो मतलब कहते हैं ना, विदाउट हैविंग द डीप नॉलेज ऑफ द साइबर सिक्योरिटी, हम शायद नहीं पकड़ पाए इन चीजों को.
देखिए सर, उसमें मैं आपको कुछ सिंपल टिप्स दे देता हूँ, which I am sure would be very useful to the members, although they may not be foolproof and workable in all the situations. अगर मैं फोन की बात करूँ, I'm talking about the phone, and you want to check if there is a foul play, say in your phone, because I keep on getting a lot of request from various members that probably somebody is following them or somebody is trying to copy their information, or there is a threat that somebody is following them. The behavior of the phone you need to check. Number one, you need to see how much data your phone is daily consuming. Although it is no more required because now 1 and 1.5 GB data is available, but if you can easily track in your phone that how much is the data being consumed. Because if your normal usage requires say 50 MB, unless you really go for some kind of a movie or a video, the data consumption should be very, very low for your routine internet browsing, email, as well as routine work. But if your data is in the range of 500 MB or maybe a GB or plus, there is always a possibility that you have got some kind of a malware and a lot of data is being uploaded or transferred from your device, which can be your mobile or maybe your PC. Second is about the behavior that some of the apps getting opened without you opening it. That is another indicator. Third, obviously, your phone becoming hot. That's a clear indicator that yes, there is a problem. There is some kind of a malware which is working in the background, which can even be crypto mining. You will be surprised to know then in most of the computers and mobile, there is a very harmless application which is about crypto mining, because the crypto miners are using my computer, your mobile for doing the mining. But that will obviously take resources of your battery will get drained fast, your data will be utilized, and obviously if some kind of a screen activity where the mouse is moving, then obviously you should be immediately totally alerted that there is a rat operating in your system. So these are some of the generic ways and means. You need to be a little careful, and probably you can figure out that there is something amiss. Obviously, this is not a substitute for a technical surveillance or the kind of tool which I have showed you. That if you have that kind of a tool, say ThreadSpike installed in your PC, it can be easily tracked, traced, and even it can trace back that who is operating that particular remote access tool. But yes, otherwise, these are some of the tips which I think using that you can figure out.
True, sir. True. And sir, there is one question from Nikhil Goel ji, that in that case, because as you are explaining that some applications have a जनरल परमिशंस की आप जनरली यस करते रहते हैं, तो काफी लोग आजकल सजेस्ट भी ऐसे करते हैं, हमसे भी कोई पूछता है आप यस करिए और आगे बढ़िए. तो उस केस में सर क्या प्रिवेंशंस या प्रिकॉशंस थोड़ी सी लेनी चाहिए? फॉर एग्जांपल अगर हम कोई गेम डाउनलोड कर रहे हैं या कोई एनीथिंग व्हिच वी आर डूइंग इन द आवर मोबाइल फोन्स, अभी मैंने 4 ऐप अभी जस्ट अनइंस्टॉल करी, मैंने कहा चलो शायद थोड़ा गरम कम हो. तो जैसे ट्रू कॉलर ऐप है, निखिल जी ने बोला, तो इन सब एप्स के लिए बिकॉज एंड्रॉइड पे तो सर सिक्योर्ड एप्स आती हैं, तो हाउ वी कैन डिफर इट?
देखिए सर, ऐसा है कि ज्यादातर एप्स जो हमें फ्री में मिल रही हैं, अल्टीमेटली वो भी कुछ ना कुछ अपना कमाई का धंधा ढूंढ रहे हैं, तभी वो हमें कोई चीज फ्री में अलाउ कर रहे हैं. और वो जो कमाई, जिसको समझिए जो उनकी इनकम है, वो बेसिकली हमारा डेटा है. और पहले तो एंड्रॉयड में परमिशंस का कोई कंपल्सन था ही नहीं. अभी तो एंड्रॉयड के जो लेटेस्ट वर्जन है उसमें परमिशन कंपलसरी है, लेकिन या तो हम लोग ध्यान नहीं देते, क्योंकि जब हमें कोई अच्छा सा गेम दिख जाता है, जैसा कि आपने गेम की बात की, तो हमें इतनी जल्दी होती है उसको खेलने की, देखने की या मूवी को, कि हम उस चक्कर में पड़ते ही नहीं. ये तो सर वैसे ही है जैसे शादी के 7 वचन है, सभी लोगों को फेरों के टाइम पे वो 7 वचन बताए जाते हैं, लेकिन याद किसी को भी नहीं होंगे. आई एम श्योर सबने हाँ ही हाँ बोला होगा उसने, किसी ने भी ये नहीं ध्यान दिया होगा कि उसका कितना बड़ा इम्प्लीकेशन है. और सभी लोग आज 20 साल हो गए उन इम्प्लीकेशंस को कंटिन्यूअस में देख रहे हैं. वैसे ये एप्स के यस हैं. अब इसकी तरकीब जो एक बहुत ही, जिसको हम लोग कह सकते हैं इंडियन जुगाड़ तरकीब है, वो ये है कि आप 2 फोन रखिए. एक फोन वो रखिए जिसमें आप ऑफिशियल डेटा रखते हैं या बैंकिंग डेटा रखते हैं, और एक फोन वो है जिसमें कि आप कोई भी ऑफिशियल वर्क मत करिए और आप उसमें कोई बैंकिंग ट्रांजेक्शन मत करिए, उसमें आप गेम खेलिए, उसमें आप ट्रू कॉलर लगाइए और जो भी आपकी मर्जी हो, क्योंकि उसमें ऐसा कोई आपका डेटा ही नहीं है कि वो वहां से एक तरीके से चुरा सके। अदरवाइज इन लोगों से बचना, मैं तो ये कहूंगा कि नामुमकिन है, अनलेस यू रियली हैव सम काइंड ऑफ ए टेक्निकल सॉल्यूशन, जैसा कि हमने आपको एक्सप्लेन किया। वो परमिशन के बिना वो चलेगा नहीं, और परमिशन देने के बाद वो क्या कर रहा है, परमिशन भी क्या ले रहा है, उसके बाद क्या चलेगा, कुछ पता नहीं है। बेसिकली वो आपकी दिन भर की एक्टिविटी कैप्चर करता ही करता है। अमेरिका में जो डेटा ब्रोकिंग है वो कम से कम आज की तारीख में फ्यू ट्रिलियन का बिजनेस है, आई विल से। अगर आप देखो जितने भी ई कॉमर्स के बिजनेस हैं वो सब लॉस में है, अमेजन लॉस में है, फ्लिपकार्ट लॉस में है, लेकिन आप तो चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट हो, कोई कंपनी लगातार 2-5 हजार करोड़ के लॉस में भी चल रही है और उसकी वैल्यूएशन हर साल 20-25% बढ़ रही है। फ्लिपकार्ट की करंट वैल्यूएशन $24 बिलियन है, तो ऑब्वियसली कहीं ना कहीं से तो वो पैसा कमा रहे होंगे, तो वो पैसा यहीं से कमा रहे हैं, तो ऑब्वियसली उन्हें तो ये काम करना ही करना है। सर आपका हाँ म्यूट
म्यूट हो गया था सर, अभी भी सीख ही रहे हैं सर म्यूट और अनम्यूट ना। थैंक यू सर। आई बिलीव क्वेरीज इतनी ही हैं and 3 questions. Sir, there is one question from R.K. Gupta ji. It's a very interesting one. Whether meeting on Zoom is safe for our information?
सर आपका क्वेश्चन बहुत ही अच्छा है, और सबसे पहली बात यह है कि अभी तक हमने किसी ने भी सेफ्टी डिफाइन नहीं करी है कि व्हेन वी से अबाउट सेफ्टी। मैं अभी जो कृष्णा सीरियल आ रहा है उसमें एक एपिसोड देख रहा था, तो उसमें भगवान ने भी इंद्र देवता को और सूर्य देवता दोनों को यही कहा कि भैया धर्म जो भी है वो आप डिफाइन करो, ये परिस्थिति और समय के हिसाब से धर्म की परिभाषा भी बदलती रहती है। तो इसी तरह से ये जो सेफ्टी है ये कोई भी एब्सोल्यूट फिगर नहीं है, जैसी जैसी हमारी रिक्वायरमेंट होती है वैसे वैसे हम थोड़ा सा रिस्क लेके काम तो करते हैं। अगर हम एब्सोल्यूट सेफ्टी की बात करें तो क्या हम लोग बाहर नहीं निकलते हैं, क्या हम लोग सब्जी नहीं खरीदते हैं? आज कोविड में देखते हो रिस्क भी है तो तब भी हम बाहर जाते हैं, क्या हम लोग सड़क पे नहीं चलते हैं? तो रिस्क जो है ना सर वो हमेशा रिलेटिव होता है, एंड आई विल से कि जूम इज नाउ रिलेटिवली सेफ। अभी जब ये मार्च में अप्रैल में बहुत इश्यूज आए थे इसमें, बट नाउ इट इज रिलेटिवली सेफ। बट यस, जूम हो या कोई भी ऐप हो, एट द एंड ऑफ द डे दे आर ऑल लुकिंग फॉर योर डेटा, तो वो कहीं ना कहीं से वो डेटा तो आपका लेते ही है।
अनुज सर, मैं हमारे मेंबर्स को एक चीज जरूर कहना चाहूंगा, जो आपने बोला मैं उसी को अप्राइज करना चाहूंगा एक सिंपल थॉट के साथ सर, जो मेरे को ऑब्जर्व हुआ आफ्टर अ सीरीज ऑफ मंथ्स। हमने लास्ट ईयर सर एक ब्लॉकचेन डिस्कस किया और हमने क्रिप्टो करेंसी भी डिस्कस किया था एट दैट मोमेंट। हमने ये चीज एक डिस्कस करी कि बजट में भी आके सबने बोला कि दिस इज नॉट अलाउड, हर चीज के लिए हमने मना किया। और उस टाइम पे भी जो एक इंटेंशन था कि भाई इसका फ्यूचर नहीं है, ये चीज खत्म हो जाएगी इंडिया में, इसको कभी भी लीगल नहीं किया जाएगा, और ऐसे ऐसे करके हमने बोला। बट एट दैट मोमेंट क्रिप्टो करेंसी साइज वाज इक्वल मोर देन द साइज ऑफ द इकोनॉमी ऑफ इंडिया। एंड हमने आपस में मिलकर एक विचारधारा बनाई कि हम इसमें इन्वेस्ट नहीं करेंगे या डाइवेस्ट नहीं करेंगे, जो भी है हमने इससे दूर रहे। हमने उसको पढ़ा जरूर, बट वी आर ऑलवेज बी अवे फ्रॉम ऑल दीज कॉन्सेप्ट्स। बट व्हाट आई पर्सनली सी बिफोर 2 months, जस्ट 2 or 3 months बैक, वी गॉट अ इंफॉर्मेशन कि हमने तो कभी इसको मना ही नहीं किया था, हमने तो क्रिप्टो करेंसी में ट्रेड करने के लिए आपको कभी रोका ही नहीं। जब ये आरबीआई की स्टेटमेंट्स आई तो एट दैट मोमेंट मुझे लगा कि ये सब क्या हुआ, ऐसा मतलब ये जो डिसीजंस हैं इस वजह से क्या इंडिया पीछे तो नहीं रहता? क्या हम चीजों को लेके आगे बढ़ना चाह रहे हैं या पीछे? क्योंकि रेगुलेशंस जब बनती है जब कोई चीज का एवोल्यूशन होता है, और कहते हैं ना धर्म, जैसा सर आपने आज समझाया मेरे को वही चीज इससे रिलेटेड हुई। लेकिन जब तक जो पहले प्लेयर्स होते हैं ना 5, 10, 15, 20, 100, 1000, वो लोग अपना मार्केट एस्टैब्लिश कर चुके होते हैं। तो व्हाट आई पर्सनली फील कि हमें हर चीज का डिसीजन एक बार अपने लेवल पे भी लेना चाहिए। when we started this Zoom, तो सबने बोला कि Zoom गलत है, ये है, but we are in continuous touch with the Zoom people, and we are also recommending कि आप इसमें security encryption और ये सब चीजें करें. तो at last, ultimately, the government has also said that Zoom is completely safe to use for the all the people of India. So this is my contention कि आपको खुद भी एक एक्सपेरिमेंट जरूर करना चाहिए. जैसे आज स्टॉक मार्केट है, हमने अभी सर स्टॉक मार्केट पे भी सेशन किया, तो एवरीबडी इज सेइंग कि ये इतना बढ़ रहा है, पता नहीं गिरेगा. और इस कंटेंशन के साथ हम भी आज खड़े हैं कि ये पक्का गिरेगा, क्योंकि अभी रियली डोंट नो. कोविड भी बढ़ रहा है और मार्केट भी बढ़ रहा है. अब ये दोनों किस दिन खत्म होंगे या किस दिन कम ज्यादा होंगे, तो अपने उसके साथ, अपने बुद्धि के साथ,
ये तो सर रिस्क प्रोफाइल तो हर किसी की इंडिविजुअल होती है, और कुछ लोग हमेशा उसके बढ़ने की बात करेंगे, कुछ लोग हमेशा घटने की बात करेंगे. आई थिंक ये बड़ा इंडिविजुअल सवाल है, कौन कितना रिस्क लेना चाहता है. तो रिस्क तो है ही है, बट रिस्क लेने से ही आगे बढ़ते हैं. हमारे यहाँ एक कहावत है, जो हिम्मत करे सो घोड़ा बांधे. तो आप अगर हिम्मत करेंगे तो आपको आगे बढ़ने का मौका मिलेगा. अब वो कौन कितना रिस्क ले सकता है, वो उसकी अपनी इंडिविजुअल प्रोफाइल पे डिपेंड करेगा कि क्या सिनेरियो है उसका. मैं रिमोटली या आप रिमोटली या कोई भी रिमोटली उसको क्या कह सकता है. हम सभी प्रोफेशनल हैं, सभी इक्वली क्वालिफाइड हैं, तो कोई ये नहीं कह सकता कि मैं ज्यादा जानता.
Absolutely true, sir. And I also welcome Shweta ji. Shweta ji, we welcome you in the seminar, sir.
Thank you.
And I also request, sir, I believe there is no other queries are pending. And sir, there is one more query if you can take up, sir. Somebody hacked my mail today. How to identify the hacker? I believe.
देखिए, हैकिंग के कई सारे मतलब हो सकते हैं यहाँ पे, क्योंकि हैकिंग का मतलब सिंपली ये भी हो सकता है कि जो आपकी डिवाइस है, आपका जो कंप्यूटर है या मोबाइल जहां से आप मेल यूज कर रहे हैं वो कॉम्प्रोमाइज्ड है. तो कोई क्रिमिनल ने रैट यूज करते हुए आपका पासवर्ड चेक कर लिया और उसको फिर यूज करते हुए उसने आपकी ईमेल में एंट्री लगा दी. ठीक है, तो ये तो तभी पॉसिबल है कि जब आपके पास जो जिस तरह के टूल मैंने आपको दिखाए, और वो टूल अगर कंटिन्यूअसली यूज में है, तो वो ट्रैक कर सकते हैं कि ये ट्रैफिक कहां से आ रहा है और कहां जा रहा है. ठीक है, अदरवाइज सिर्फ ये दूर से बताना कि किसने आपकी ईमेल हैक कर ली, ये बड़ा मुश्किल है. इसका तो फोरेंसिक एनालिसिस ही करना पड़ेगा पूरे डिवाइस का, तभी पता चलेगा कि वो ट्रैफिक कहां से आ रहा है. Who all have access to that device?
Thank you, Anuj sir. And sir, there is one again for that particular mail hack. Now there is one another question. Emails used is not mine, but sent to all my partners. सर ये तो वो होता है ना, आप एक टेम्परेरी डोमेन क्रिएट करके जब मेल भेज देते हैं वो हो जाता है सर. वो थोड़े दिन बाद पकड़ लेता है उसको सर्वर, उसके बाद वो स्पैम करता है.
देखिए, इसमें ऐसा है कि आपकी ईमेल आईडी को यूज करते हुए किसी दूसरे को ईमेल भेजना, ये बच्चों का खेल है, इसमें कोई मुश्किल काम नहीं है. ये तो कोई भी, आप जो सेंडर है उसमें सेंडर में आप किसी की भी ईमेल आईडी लगा सकते हैं, आप भेजे गए. अब उसमें तरीका ये होता है कि जब आपको ऐसी कोई सस्पिशियस ईमेल आती है, तो अपना माउस अगर आप उस पर्टिकुलर ईमेल के ऊपर ले जाएंगे, सेंडर के ऊपर, तो बॉटम पे आपको नजर आ जाएगा कि वो एक्चुअली में कहां से आया है. तो ये एक छोटा सा है कि जब भी कोई ऐसा सस्पिशियस मैसेज आपको आए, तो आप ओरिजिनेटर को ईमेल बॉटम में, ईमेल क्लाइंट के, या जैसे अगर जीमेल वगैरह है तो उसके नीचे ब्राउजर के बॉटम में आ जाएगा, आप उसको एक बार चेक करिए.
Thank you Anuj sir, and I believe these 2 hours are like कि बिल्कुल पता नहीं चले कब खत्म हो गए. And there are so many thoughts I believe behind the every line of your content, and definitely we will make more sessions related to technology and the remote audit and security of the ultimately data and the information. And thank you Anuj sir.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure Anuj sir. And Shweta ma'am, are you there? Shweta ji? Yeah ma'am. Shweta ji, I also request you please give a formal vote of thanks on behalf of NIRC of ICI to Anuj sir and Vinod Kashyap ji. Shweta ji, over to you sir.
Thanks, Shashank, for providing me this opportunity to give a formal vote of thanks on behalf of NIRC. And if I talk about Anuj Agrawal ji and Vinod Kashyap ji, both are very learned speakers, and I know both of them personally, and I can vouch myself that both of them are one of the best speakers on the topic. And this was a fantabulous session. Although I was giving deliberation somewhere else, I could not listen to the complete deliberation. In between, I logged in, but I saw that the suggestions or the deliberations given by the speakers were very valuable. And I also checked on the chat box that both the sessions were admired by our listeners. And in this current era, when we always talk about promoting digital India, and during this lockdown too, that when we were not following, when our Honorable Prime Minister was saying that we are moving towards digital era, but this lockdown taught us that how we need to work towards technology. And today we are all having interaction through digital mode only. And as rightly mentioned by our honorable speaker, Agrawal ji, that when technology is coming, apart from the benefit, it is also giving a lot of risk along. So we have to be very cautious, and the suggestions which were given by Anuj ji and Kashyap ji both are very valuable, and I hope all the speakers have learned a lot from the sessions, and we look forward to invite you again in our sessions. So thank you so much. Thank you. Happy Chhath Puja.
Thank you.
अनुज सर, आपके लिए एक छोटा सा टोकन ऑफ लव फ्रॉम NIRC. हम आपको फिजिकली तो नहीं दे पा रहे, तो we have created a small token of love on behalf of NIRC. I request Sudhir ji, please present a certificate of recognition to Anuj sir on behalf of NIRC.
That is very valuable and very important and very useful.
Thank you Anuj sir. It's a totally very small honor from our side to Anuj sir.
Thank you. This is wonderful.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And thank you again, Shashank ji and Sweta ji and all office bearers and the members for this opportunity. And I am always available. Anybody having any issue? Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you, members. Thank you, sir. Okay. Thank you, Shweta ji.